Want to know the latest and hottest music hitting the airwaves? Don't be left out. Listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Music Podcast. Keith keeps you on the loop with everything you need to know from pop, rock, hip-hop, and the top 40. And we'll throw in news of your favorite artists, concert and tour dates, and so much more. Listen no further, because this is the gold standard in music podcast.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the GSMC Music Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I am your lovely host, Keith, and this is my co-host, Cynthia.
Hello, what's going on, everybody?
How's it going, Cynthia?
It's going great besides this scratchy throat I have on. I'm a complainer whenever I'm not feeling 110% with my health.
Right.
So I just complain, like, I feel fine-ish. But yeah, I'm okay. How about you?
I'm doing all right, hanging in there. My check engine light came on my way here, so, living life adventurously and hoping I can make it home tonight.
Car issues are the worst. Like, I hate having issues with my car. I actually get so much anxiety because every time I hop in, I'm like, am I even going to make it home safe? I know. Yeah. So
I just want to be able to be like rich enough to just buy a new car and not worry about it.
Right.
And just like have one of those like remote starts that you can start it from like, from your smartphone and turn the air conditioning on and like on a hot summer day, and you just like walk over to your car and it is already good to go. You don't have to worry about anything. It's just like that feeling. I want it so badly.
The feeling I want a chauffeur. I actually hate driving. Like,
you just show up and there's like
right. Like, I want to feel like a Kardashian. I walk out my house and like the door's open for me and I just hop in and like, can you take me to the gym?
What's your last name?
Contreras.
Mm-hmm. Would your chauffeur speak Spanish? Would you prefer that?
They don't even have to speak. Just say, they don't have to just open the door for me and
I walk
the door. In. Right.
I was going to say, because they could say, like, buenos dias, Miss Contreras,
right.
¿Cómo está?
Any language.
Yeah,
just acknowledge it. Right.
Exactly.
But we're not here to talk about cars, right?
No.
We're
here to talk about economics.
Oh.
I'm just kidding.
I'm like, am I in the wrong show? In the wrong show?
We're here to talk about music.
Pop talk.
Yes. So this week we are focusing on the genre of pop music, which is exciting. I proposed that we move to this genre this week because we had talked about Christmas stuff last week and we were going to consider talking about it again this week, but Christmas music, you listen to it once a year, so we only have to talk about it one time per year. So we're not going to even talk about Christmas music anymore. And I was really excited about this topic because I thought like, we'll finally be able to like share some common interests and like maybe like the same things. Spoiler alert, I was wrong.
I know. And that's why it makes it so great, because you and I just like go back and forth on like why we like a certain album or single or why we don't. And you and I both have opposing views sometimes, but that's what makes it interesting, because I actually learned a lot about music from you.
I learned a lot about popular culture from you, because apparently I'm not involved in it.
You
at
heart
all.
knowledge. You heart knowledge.
I do heart knowledge. Yes. We do the hashtag shameless cross promotion here. We do the movie podcast as well. So if you're looking to get more Cynthia and Keith in your life, we actually
head over there.
Yeah, head over there. Also, we get along more on that podcast. We have a tendency to have similar views.
I know, but it's okay. It's okay. We may have different musical tastes, but I can appreciate different genres, just because I don't like pop. To be honest, I'm not a big pop person. Like,
and I felt like your choices were kind of on the edge of like,
right.
They're
what
crossovers. I would consider pop music. Yeah. Anyway, so what were we talking about first?
So the very first one, we're going to talk about an album that was just released a few short days ago on December 6th. It's Camila Cabello's album titled Romance.
Wait, quick question.
Yes.
Okay, so how do you spell her last name?
It's Cabello. So I guess
so is it Cabello?
I guess, yeah, in Spanish it's cabello, but here in the U.S. I always hear Camila Cabello. Like, I always hear that.
That just sounds, Camila Cabello sounds so much better.
It does. She is Cuban. She's Cuban. So she's Latin descent. So of course her last name.
Is the dialect in Cuba, there's a version of Spanish that they speak?
Oh, it's different.
Follow? So they might not follow the double L, yo.
Oh, no, that's
pretty universal.
That's universal in Spanish.
Okay.
But there are different dialects, like how Mexicans speak is completely different from how Cubans or Puerto Ricans speak. So that's
Puerto Ricans.
Puerto Ricans, right. They say that Mexicans speak the slowest in Spanish, which is absolutely true.
Oh.
I have some Puerto Ricans in my family, and when they speak Spanish, I literally cannot keep up. And it's the same language, but like they mesh like 6 words into one. And I'm like, what?
Oh, interesting.
So
it's probably like talking to somebody from California versus talking to someone from the East Coast.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. It's the
very
same
decidedly
language.
Different.
Right.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. So
difference is fun. Okay, so Camila Cabello.
Cabello. See, there we go. We're gonna call her Camila Cabello, and she's actually, for those of you who don't know who she is, she's one of the members / co-founders of the girl group Fifth Harmony, and she co-founded that girl group in 2012. So they're like a pop group.
My little sister is super into Fifth Harmony.
Really?
It's really funny that she's in that.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
good to know.
I think that's like a generation thing, because me growing up, I was into the Cheetah Girls, like. All my Cheetah sisters, you better let me know in the comments right now if you were a Cheetah girl.
Simone in the Cheetah Girls? Oh my gosh.
Adrian Balon. So I'm her. Adrian Balon. She's like the Latino one in there.
Is.
She's well, she dated Rob Kardashian, and she's on a talk show now.
I also don't know who that is.
Oh my goodness. Go listen to the entertainment podcast. I'm like, I host that one too. So I talk, if you need all your pop culture needs, I'm over there. But anyways, so yeah, Camila Cabello, she released Romance, and in this album, she's pretty much like an open book. She explores pretty much love, romance in all forms. So love, lust, toxic relationships.
Yeah, Bad Butterflies. I actually kind of enjoyed that track.
All of that stuff. She reminds me a lot of Taylor Swift, to be honest. I think they're friends.
Really?
Yes. Not in like the way.
Not catch Taylor Swift vibes
not
on
in
this
the
record
way.
at
Not
all.
in the way. I think personality wise and just music. Like they both write a lot of it like their personal love stories.
Yeah, and they're like ladies in charge kind of a thing,
right?
In like a good way. Yeah.
So. And I did like the album was like okay for me. Like I said, I'm a little more judgy just because I'm not huge into pop, but I did appreciate the Latin sounds within her album.
Yeah, I actually heard the song Señorita covered by a metal band before I heard the original one. So when you sent this record to me and I heard that track, I was like, where have I heard this before?
Oh no, yeah. She Señorita is one of her most popular tracks on the album, and she released that album months in advance before the album released.
That was one of the singles?
Yes.
Okay.
And she performed, I actually heard of Señorita first time, where was it? Oh, at the American Music Awards. So like, honestly, I didn't find out about the song pretty late, like only 2 weeks ago. And the song features Shawn Mendes, which I believe it's her boyfriend. But this morning,
Who is Shawn Mendes?
To be honest, I don't even know.
Okay, good. All right.
I know he's
not the only one.
I know he's in the music industry. Like that name always appears.
I've
but
heard of him.
I'm not really like, I don't really dig his music. I haven't really listened to it.
Okay.
And their whole, I think Señorita is, I like that track. Again, it goes back to her Latin roots. My other favorite track on the album was My Oh My featuring DaBaby.
That was a good one too. I like that one as well.
But I think the only reason why I like that track is because I love DaBaby. So he's a American rapper, hip hop artist.
Oh, okay.
And I love his energy. He's so like small, compact, and packs a punch, honestly. Have you ever seen DaBaby perform live? He can put on a show, which just because you're a good rapper doesn't mean you're a good performer. And he is amazing live. He really cares about his fans. So I'm generally a fan of DaBaby, and I think that's the only reason why I, to be honest, love the track, My Oh My.
Yeah, I really liked Used to This. The second to last track. I really enjoyed that one.
I can't remember that track. And I see that's the thing too when I was analyzing the album. Like I like these songs, these tracks that I mentioned, they're my favorite of the album, but I don't think I would download it in my playlist. Like nothing really was too memorable for me in this project.
Whoa, hold up. Quick question.
Yes.
The last track, in my opinion, is one of those like. Okay, do you remember the last track?
I don't. That's what I'm saying.
It
wasn't memorable.
First Man. You don't remember it?
I don't. I
Oh my
really
goodness.
don't.
It stood out to me so much.
Why?
Tell
me why.
So, because in my opinion, it was absolutely terrible. It's like this. So it's one of those like sad songs. And this, you know what? Honestly, after thinking about your statement about Taylor Swift, like this is where I could see that Taylor Swift influence coming in here. So it's basically this story of a young lady who falls in love with a man, and it's from like this weird mixed viewpoint of like what she thinks her dad is thinking about this guy as well as what she's thinking about this guy. And like it's just that like that pop culture completely and utterly false idealized version of what a father thinks when his daughter falls in love. And it feels like it's just fishing for people to use this as their daddy-daughter dance at a wedding. And like it was so insincere, it felt like a crappy country song. Like it was so bad. I cannot emphasize to anybody who listens to this, like what she says in those lyrics is not real. Like it's like a bad rom-com. It's like, oh, and like I'm so thankful that you're the first guy that loved me, and like you just think that this guy's not worthy of me the whole time, and blah blah blah. Like if your dad thinks that you're so great that no man is worthy of you, then your dad does not have realistic expectations of you.
Right.
And you should be weary of that. So like the fact that you've got this, like this final track is supposed to be like this penultimate emotional tear-jerking song, like.
And it's not.
It was just awful. Like it was so fake. It just did not feel sincere in any way, shape or form. And yeah, I would say, I'm right there with you. Like, there's a couple of these songs that I've heard before, and like I didn't even care enough to like figure out who they were by. And it, like, when something's really, really bad, and I can't believe how bad it is, I'll look it up to see who did it because it's just funny how.
You're like, who do I blame for this?
Yeah, exactly. And like, she rides that line of mediocrity so well. It's like I could put this on and then never remember that I listened to it until that last track.
Yeah.
So, what you know, before we head out to break, so like, what would you rate this record out of 10?
Out of 10, like a 5.
Yep.
And the only reason why she even gained a 5 for me is because of the Latin sounds. So that's really the only reason.
Which she did do tastefully. I will give her that.
Yeah, they were tasteful, but again, nothing too memorable. Like, yeah, I was just kind of like, all right, I listened to it. What's next?
Yeah.
So that's just me. I wouldn't really recommend this album.
Okay. And I will give my recommendation right after this break.
Always on the go, but the day just won't be one without your Hollywood fix. Let Golden State Media Concepts Entertainment Podcast take care of that. An all-inclusive look of pop culture.
Hello and welcome back to GSMC Music Podcast. Right before the break, I gave y'all my rating for Camila Cabello's, album for Romance, and Keith left us hanging. I want to know your rating for the
2.
album. Oh,
I give it a 2.
Oh, 2. I think that's the worst rating you have given out on this show.
So like, I would give something that is horrendous like a 5 or a 6 because it would be so bad that you should listen to it and know why it's so bad. This is just so boring and so unsincere and so unoriginal that like
to try hard.
In my opinion, right? And there are people who are going to love this record, and that's fine. Like
these are just our opinions.
Everybody's taste is valid, and there's a place for every bit of creativity in the music industry. And like I applaud Camila Cabello for like putting herself out there and for writing this stuff, but like in the grand scheme of whether or not it's actually valuable in the lexicon of music and if it's going to be remembered, like it's a 2. It's just not Like, no one's going to be in 10 years. No one's going to say, hey, you got to go back and listen to Camila Cabello's romance record. Like, she might have a record that she puts out that is that record for her, but it's definitely not this one. So, again,
Agreed.
I don't want to sound mean or negative. It's just like the record's really not memorable and it doesn't do anything unique and you don't have to listen to it. You can go your whole life not listening to it. You're not missing out on anything.
Absolutely. Her best one is Senorita, and you probably have heard this song like on the radio, in malls. So
yeah, and it's a good track, you know. So
all right, moving on. So we're gonna be talking about another girl who was part of the Fifth Harmony girl group that Camila Cabello was in, Normani. She is my girl. I'm so excited to talk about her. She is the it girl. She is the total package. I am absolutely obsessed with her. And to me, she's like, the only reason why I compare Fifth Harmony to Destiny's Child, and don't come at me in the comments because they're not even in the same lane.
Oh no, they're absolutely the same lane. It's the same thing.
Normani is like the Kelly Rowland in
who?
Kelly Rowland. She's one of the members in Destiny's Child. So in Destiny's Child,
I only know Beyonce, right?
Beyonce.
Yeah. Only know Beyonce.
Kelly Rowland and Michelle. So they're three. Michelle, she's the third singer for Destiny's Child.
Okay, I did not.
They're 90s R&B right there.
Okay,
and Normani, she actually said growing up, she idolized and looked up to Kelly Rowland a lot because she felt like she was very underrated within the girl group, and not a lot of spotlight was shined on Kelly Rowland. We all know it's mainly Beyonce. I mean, of course it's Beyonce, but anyways.
Who?
You said who?
Who's Beyonce? I'm just kidding.
I was like, everyone knows who Beyonce is. But so Normani, I want to talk about Normani's pop song Motivation / music video, because not only was this music video highly successful, it was highly impactful as well, which is two different things. You can have a successful song, but it's a whole different story when it makes an impact and it moves people. And did you see the music video, Keith? Or heard the song?
I listened to the song. I forgot to watch the music video. Okay. And I'm a little embarrassed.
Okay. Well, that's okay. I want to know your initial thoughts of the song. The song itself.
Are you sure?
I do. I may not like it. I feel we're going to be butting heads a little bit.
I didn't like it at all.
No, it's because you didn't watch the music video.
I'm sorry.
The music video ties it all together. Why didn't you like it?
It was just really boring and forgettable. Like, I heard the song and I was like, oh, is it done already?
Wow.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Wow.
Well, that was a song, I guess. Like, I don't know. It just should. Okay. So, like, when I looked up Normani on Spotify, I saw that she was the woman who sang Dancing with a Stranger with Sam Smith.
Yes.
I love that song. Like, Sam Smith, he's my dude. And I think his voice is incredible. He's a great songwriter. Well, actually, I don't know how much of his own songs that he writes, but regardless, everything that he's been involved in, I've really, really enjoyed. And so I was tentatively excited that I would really like this song, and I just ultimately didn't. And I didn't remember it at all. I finished listening to it and was like, I really want to listen to Dancing with a Stranger, because like her vocals in that song are great. She does a really good job. She kills it.
Yeah.
And in the music video, like, I think she's the woman who's like kind of like dancing, or she's in the music video with him, and like she does an incredible job in the music video. So
I recommend that you listen to the song again, but watch the music video, because I feel like you would appreciate the song a little more, or like it maybe a little more, if you watch the music video, because that's really where the success comes, or how impactful the song became, because of the music video, not necessarily the lyrics of the song. So I kind of do like see your point of view.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I'm reading your show notes for why you like the music video, and I'm just going to tell you I probably wouldn't like it. So why don't you read your show notes to everybody, and then I can kind of give my 2 cents.
So pretty much her music video, it's very nostalgic. It pays homage to the early 2000s, 90s R&B hip hop era. So if you're a big fan of R&B and hip hop, you're going to appreciate her music video a lot more, like I do. So in the beginning of the music video, it shows a young Normani watching TV, and on the TV it's playing 106 and Park. So for those of you who don't know, 106 and Park back then in the early 2000s, they showcased a lot of music videos, which back then, like sort of like MTV, music videos were the it thing. Like, I remember coming home from school and looking forward to watching those music videos on TV. And then her outfit in the music video, it's airbrushed 1996 logo brushed over her chest, which is the year she was born. Low-rise jeans.
Wait, as in she's like body painted?
No, it's like a white piece set, so like a spaghetti strap top with the skirt, but the very top is airbrushed logo.
I was really confused for a second. And I was going to say, this is a family-friendly podcast.
No. She was wearing a top, you guys. She was wearing she is
clothed.
She is clothed.
This is not that kind of podcast.
Even like the low-rise jeans and like the belly button piercing, like the actual very first shot of the music video.
Wait, aren't belly button piercings still cool?
Well, back then, like, hers has like a charm on it, like the little dangly part.
Okay,
so a lot of girls now aren't really wearing like the very long piercing, you know? And the very first shot of the music video, she's walking on a street, and she's paying homage to Beyonce's Crazy in Love music video. So a lot of the scenes from the music video, she plays back from the early 2000s era. There's another scene, a dancing scene, where she's on the basketball court and the lighting's kind of like dark, dimish, and it's paying again homage to Jennifer Lopez and Ja Rule's one of their music videos. I can't think of the title of the song at the moment, but it's just, I really enjoyed it. It was so good and refreshing. It reminded me a lot of my younger childhood days watching music videos on TV. And she really is a total package. She has vocals. She's got the acrobatics, the dancing skills. She did for those of you who don't know or aren't dancers, she did a double puree, which is like a spin. She tossed the basketball, spun, bounced it off her butt in the music video. And in the rain, there is another shot in the music video where she's in the rain and it's pouring and there's trumpets and hornets in the background playing, and she's doing all these like crazy flips. She gets into a handstand, twists in the air, and then drops down in a split in the rain. Like, the athleticism shown throughout this entire music video, like, I'm tired. And her friends were like twerking on a fence.
Cynthia,
you're like out of words.
Looking at me I'm like I'm gonna have a reaction to
I know,
I'm
waiting. I'm waiting for you to chime in, but no, and I'm not the only one who loved it. She has over 73 million views on YouTube right now, and the music video was so popular all over Twitter. That's how I first found out about the song. There were those clips that I mentioned of her dancing in the rain and her twerking on the fence and all that. Those little shots were all over Twitter, and Rihanna was posting her. So many celebrities were reposting her music video. It was amazing. I have watched it probably like 5 times. And even the dance choreography in the music video is like, even if you're a non-dancer, you can appreciate the dancing that goes on in the choreography. And I was reading more on the behind the scenes of who produced, directed the music video, and they actually completed the choreography without music. So she has about like 20 to 30 dancers in the music video, and they're all in sync. And Normani said that they did the entire music video with no music, hitting all of those movements in sync. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And I like used to dance, so I know how super, super challenging that is to have 20 to 30 people synchronize hitting movements at the exact same beat with no music. They did it with no music.
People can't even sing together in a choir well. And you're asking someone to like acrobatically and athletically move their body in synchronization with a large group of people. That is legitimately impressive.
Yeah, no. And this song was really her first time truly presenting herself to the world as a solo artist. As I previously mentioned, she was originally in the all-girl group of Fifth Harmony with Camila Cabello, but she never really got any like spotlight
or solo stuff. Like, no. I knew her from a feature she had with another artist.
Right, and she's been featured with like Black, Khalid, other big name artists. So she's been in the game for a while. But this moment,
is Khalid different than Khalid?
How do you say it? Is it Khalid or Khalid?
DJ Khalid. Is that who you're referring to?
No, Khalid.
Okay, you're talking about somebody else. Okay.
Yes. So she's been featured with other like big artists, and I loved the way I feel this was perfect, almost announcement for her to come out to the world and be like, look, I'm good enough to be a solo artist. Some people are better off being a solo artist than they are in a group. And no shade being thrown right now, but a little shade I'm going to throw right now. Camila Cabello should have stayed in the group. Because she's not doing that. She's not doing that well as a solo artist.
Yeah.
And I'm not like saying this. I mean, it is my opinion, but you can even Google it. Her first album didn't really make a lot of numbers or reach much success.
Waves.
Right.
Yeah.
And Normani, from this music video / song, it was such a turning point, pivotal moment for her in her music career. From this release of the song, she ended up walking for Rihanna's lingerie fashion show, Savage X Fenty. She became the first brand ambassador for Rihanna's lingerie line, performed at her fashion show, and she was on tour with Ariana Grande.
Oh, cool.
And Ariana Grande actually was her co-writer for this song, Motivation.
Yeah.
So, I believe Ariana Grande is Normani's mentor, which that's like perfect because they're both in the pop genre. And I love also, you said this in the beginning of the podcast, I think the reason why I love this track so much is because it's a little bit of a crossover. It's pop, but it has a little bit of R&B groove to it.
Yeah, it definitely didn't feel like it fit like solidly into one genre when I was listening to it.
But Normani does consider herself as a pop artist, and that's another reason why I say this was not only successful but impactful. There's not that many black artists as pop artists who label themselves as pop artists. The majority of black artists are either grouped as being R&B and hip hop. And she actually states this in an interview that she wants to break that stereotype that it doesn't matter the color of your skin or whatever. You can't categorize me. Like I can do whatever I want with my music. And that's what she's showing us with this pop hit. This is a summer bop. Like I truly love this record and I love everything that it stands for. And I wish her much success. She's only 23.
Oh wow.
She's very young.
Good for her.
This is the beginning of her career and
that is exciting.
I'm excited to see where this next decade, because we're entering a new decade. I cannot say decade. Decade. I'm excited to see where she takes off because I already know she's going to be highly, highly successful. And
that's exciting. That's super cool.
Yes. And so I need you to go watch it. I know you may not like it, but I still need to know what you think about everything.
I will go into it with an open mind. I promise.
Yes. Because I'm for sure you'll probably interpret a lot of things way differently than I.
Yeah.
Because I also come from a dance background. So I'm like really appreciating the art behind it, the dancing, the choreography, everything about it. Because I know how challenging it must have been to hit all those moves, especially with no music. So
yeah. The only thing that kind of threw me off was when you said like it's very nostalgic. Like I am not a fan of leveraging nostalgia into views. I think that that's a cheap way to try to make it seem like you're doing something really cool. Like what you're doing should be able to stand kind of on its own in a way. And like, you know, you emphasizing the nostalgia just kind of makes me hesitant and makes me think like, oh, is she leaning too much on this nostalgia to experience success? Or is she actually using it to like leverage this interesting and unique thing that she's doing? So I will go watch the music video with an open mind, because you so passionately talked about it. I really appreciated everything that you had to say about it. And I think it's really cool that Normani is doing what she's doing and she's passionate about this particular project too.
She's on the come up, you guys.
Yeah, and when someone's passionate about what they're doing, it translates into their art, and I think that is part of what makes really good art.
Absolutely. And I think on that note, we're going to take another quick break, and when we come back, we're going to move on to reviewing more albums.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Welcome back to the GSMC Music Podcast. Right before the break, we listened to Cynthia passionately talk about Normani's new music video. And now we're moving on to some things that Cynthia is unfortunately not as passionate about.
I'm not passionate.
No.
Not at all.
So we were in the pop genre this week, and I was very hopeful that I would be able to recommend some things that Cynthia would really enjoy because I like it when I get to share an enjoyment of something with other individuals. I think that that's like fun and part of what art is all about, and music especially. So we listened to Carly Rae Jepsen's most recent album, Dedication.
Dedicated.
Oh, I can't even remember. Yeah. So I really...
I'm gonna just say I didn't like it.
Okay.
I'm gonna just go straight up. I didn't like it. I was like, let me just cut to the chase, you guys. Nothing stood out to me. Again, nothing was memorable, but I'm also a harder critic when it comes to pop music because I'm not the biggest fan of this genre. So maybe that's why I'm so like, I don't like it. But to be honest, I can't. When I think of Carly Rae Jepsen, I still think of her terrible single, Call Me Maybe.
Whoa.
No, it's terrible.
It is.
I literally cannot stand.
Unapologetic pop. It's like unapologetic packaged pop magic.
Oh no, it's
that song.
I don't know if it's magic. It's definitely poppy.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's magic. I wouldn't go there.
But
again,
it's
this is my opinion.
So unapologetically pop music. Like it's full of the excess and like opulence of pop music. It's just so over the top and so ridiculous, and the music video is hilarious.
It is, and like I think it's a joke. Like that's why. Is that how she kicked off her career? Because I honestly haven't. She's been underground for me for a little while.
Yeah,
until
so she had another record that came out in 2015 called Emotions that didn't do very well, but she was definitely like. She's from Canada, if I remember correctly. So I think she's one of the like prepackaged pop stars from Canada that they kind of like wrapped up in a bow and said like, if you do these songs, then like, you know, you can have a successful career as a pop artist. And so she was just kind of like hopped on board because most of her music hasn't been her music. It's just been her singing songs that were written by other people or like singing on tracks that were written by other people. Like I remember there was another podcast that I listened to a while back. I can't remember what it's called, but they would break down like different songs and things like that and like all the parts that went into making it. And he did one of Carly Rae Jepsen's songs and I was like, oh, is Carly Rae Jepsen on this episode? And she was not because she didn't have anything to do with like writing or making the song. She just basically like walked into the studio and they said like, okay, here's your part, sing. And she said, cool, sounds great. And then she did a good job. But like this record, so it's kind of a breakup record. It was released in May of this year. And it was actually Carly Rae Jepsen's like first soiree with kind of doing her own thing. She's not like locked into a record deal or anything like that anymore. So this is kind of a more independent effort for her.
Oh, is she an independent artist?
I don't know if I'd call her an independent artist necessarily. I don't know if she's on a label or anything like that. But this is the first record where she wrote a lot more of the songs on the album, and where she participated in more of like the production and things like that. And I think that's part of the reason why like critics really liked this record. As far as like pop records are concerned, people have really thought that this was one of the better ones of 2019.
Really?
Yeah. It definitely made a lot of lists for best records of 2019. I think even Pitchfork put it on there, and like Pitchfork normally, it's really hard to get on there as a pop artist because they kind of don't like people who do the same old song and dance. So Carly Rae, she was kind of aiming to emulate like ABBA. Are you familiar with ABBA at all?
No.
Oh my! So ABBA did like Dancing Queen. I'm sure you've heard Dancing
Queen.
Yeah.
Dancing
So ABBA,
Queen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
ABBA is this like classic, I want to say Swedish like dance band from the 70s type of thing. They're like, you think disco music, you think ABBA. So like Carly Rae Jepsen said in a couple interviews that like her aim was to make this like a very fun like music to clean your house to type of record that's like dancey and like not necessarily in your face, just very listenable. And I think ultimately she did a good job with that.
Like background music type?
Kind of, yeah, in a way. It's like you don't like music isn't to like dominate the space you're in. It's intended to like be a part of the space you're in, and you're supposed to have fun with it. Like the last song is called like A Dance Party by Myself or something like that, and it's pretty much feels like I could have this on in the background while I'm cleaning my house, and it wouldn't do anything for me unless I was really paying attention to it, and then it's a little bit dancey. I think I'm also a little biased towards Carly Rae because she works with one of my favorite like producers / dudes in the music industry named Jack Antonoff, and he was a part of Fun, the band Fun. And then he is also he's the dude for Bleachers, and Bleachers is another really good kind of like pop band. So
you like her for the producer. You like the producer.
No, I did like the record. I like, if we're gonna jump to ratings, like I'd give this like a 6.5 to a 7, and I would give it a recommend. Like I recommend listening to it type of thing. I definitely think that it's a good record.
See, and I feel like I can't even rate it because to be honest, I don't feel like I really gave the album a chance because immediately when I saw her name, I'm like, call me maybe.
Yeah.
So that already fogged my judgment of the actual music. So to be honest, I couldn't even get through the whole album. I was like, after like song 6, I'm like, all right.
Oh,
like,
but the opening track is so great. Julian.
Oh, actually, okay. I do remember Julian. That one was all right. Yeah, that one was all right. I'll give her that.
Yeah,
I'm not going to totally hate on her, but I mean,
could make it onto one of your playlists, right?
No, like I can like, if I hear it, if I walk into a store and I hear it playing, I won't totally hate it. Like I'll be like,
okay,
all right, like,
that's fair.
So I'm not going to judge. I mean, I'm not going to rate it. So I didn't really give it the chance to listen to it.
All right. Well, coming from Keith, you heard it here first. I'm recommending a Carly Rae Jepsen album, and I stand by it. I think it's a good record to listen to, especially if you like pop music. It's kind of like a good way to kind of dip your toes into the water of something a little different. And speaking of something different, the next record that I recommended that we listened to is by an artist named Robyn, and it's called Body Talk. Robyn,
I like that title.
It's a great title. And Robyn released a record this year called Honey, which I highly recommend. It's a great record.
Really? I haven't heard of Honey.
Yeah. So it came out in November, I want to say.
So fairly recent.
Yeah, fairly recent. It's definitely really good. I didn't want to pick 2 records that came out this year. I wanted to kind of go into someone's back catalog. And if I'm being honest, Carly Rae Jepsen's back catalog is not nearly as good as Robyn's. So we listened to Body Talk, which came out in 2010. And it was a bunch of like, it's a compilation of several hits that she had over in Europe that they kind of repackaged for like U.S. audiences and other audiences throughout Europe that kind of weren't as familiar with her. And, she put out a bunch of little mini releases that same year and kind of put them all together.
I think between Robyn's album and Carly Rae's, I enjoyed Robyn's a lot more. Not to say that I like 100% enjoyed it because again, I'm not like huge on pop. And if I'm being totally honest, like again, I was actually able to listen to the entire album for this one. Nothing like really, really stood out to me besides the song she has with Snoop Dogg, You Know Better, which is one of my favorite ones on the album, and Dancing on My Own, which I also read is one of her most highly popular songs and is really arguably one of the reason why she was famous. That's what I was reading, that Dancing on My Own is really what set her off, and many people have done covers to the track and was actually the #1 single in her homeland of Sweden. So, and I remember hearing Dancing on My Own when I would play Dance Dance Revolution. Do you know that? Like it's an arcade game, like you're dancing.
I know the
like
game.
arrows.
I didn't know this song was in there.
Yes, because
cool.
When I heard of Dancing on My Own, it immediately took me to the arcade vibes.
Oh,
so
okay.
that I didn't know. See, that's the thing, is like I know music, but I'm not the best when it comes to who sings it or the names of it. But it's like I know I've heard of these things. So
yeah.
But yeah, I say those are my top 2. You Know Better featuring Snoop Dogg and Dancing on My Own. How about you? What were your favorite tracks?
Okay, so I really like the one that's like Don't Tell Me What the Blank to Do.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was pretty fun. And then I love Call Your Girlfriend. I just think it's like a really interesting song. It's kind of got that like same what's Ariana Grande, Break Up With Your girlfriend because I'm bored. It's kind of like along a similar line where it's like you need to call your girlfriend and tell her that you're leaving her for me kind of a thing. And I don't know, I just like those kind of songs where it's just kind of like an artist is like putting their foot down in this particular way. It's kind of like Michael Jackson's Bad, right? Like it's along those same lines. of being like in charge, and I think that that's kind of like a cool way to write a song. So I think that that's like interesting and unique that she did those two things. And it's like kind of punk rock, but she's doing this like pop music thing.
It's like electro pop. That's like the vibe I got.
It's very European. Like, it definitely does not feel like the pop of the United States or even of like Canada. Like it definitely feels like pop from Europe.
Yeah, so, and that was my initial thought too when I listened to the album. Like, I think that's why I was so intrigued by it, and why I was actually able to sit and listen to the entire thing is because it was so different, and like, I don't really hear that type of music here.
No.
So,
yeah, this is definitely not pop in the way that you would normally hear it. And so critics love this record. Pitchfork gave this record the number 8 slot on its top records of the 2010s. And this record came out in 2010.
Yeah, 8.7 I read. Like, that's pretty good.
It's really highly rated. It's very recommended. I think that, like, if you're a music buff and you know who the Pixies are, like, this is kind of like the Pixies of pop music in the 2010s. Like, a lot of what happened after this record came out was influenced by what was on the record. And like another great thing that came out of this record was like a really good performance on Saturday Night Live. Like, some people credit Robyn's performance of Call Your Girlfriend as being like one of the best performances on Saturday Night Live of the last like 2 decades. So people really are really high on this record, and I highly recommend it. I'm gonna score it somewhere around like 8 to 8.5 as well. I think that it's really good. It's definitely got its own space that it kind of occupies. And it really did ultimately add something interesting and kind of like add a nice little jolt of life to the genre that it's in. But like, how would you rate this out of like a 10?
I'd rate it like a 6.5 or 7. And I think it's just because, again, I've said this like a million times on the episode, I'm not a fan of pop, but I do appreciate her work, and I was able to appreciate the sound, the electro-pop sound. It's different. So if you are into pop music and you haven't heard that European twist to it, I would recommend this album, Robyn. What was it? Robyn Body Talk. So no, I enjoyed it.
So it gets a recommend from both of us.
Yes.
We agree on something.
We agree.
That's exciting.
I know. See, good job.
Yeah, we just high-fived for everybody.
I know. If there's a crowd, we high-fived, yeah.
Very quietly, because we didn't want it to pick up on the mics and have
to
re-record this episode for the 4th time. Which we haven't done.
I'm like, what? I'm like, wait, hold up. Hopefully we don't need to re-record.
No, we record like 7 episodes and then we delete 6 of them, right?
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah, totally.
No, Keith and I are so awesome that we just get one and done, and boom, you get it.
Yeah, well, it's because we're so excited to talk to everybody. Like, and when we pick good topic. Well, okay, we think.
I know we're like being biased. Like, we pick the best topics. We're excited about them.
We're the best podcast hosts ever. And on that note, we're gonna head out for the week. And because we are the best podcast hosts ever, please review us and give us like 5 stars. Tell everyone that you think this podcast is awesome.
Share, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Leave us comments, all of that. Like, we want to see it.
We'd love to hear from you.
And catch us again at next week's episode here at GSMC Music Podcast. And we wish you guys a happy week.
Yeah, happy holiday season, everybody.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Music Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.